for now, Rob, let's go to MLB. I mentioned Ronald Acuña Jr. Last night, of course, in a great game, as we were saying with Steve DeSager, an instant classic type game.
8-7, the Braves win in Los Angeles.
And Braves were destroying them. Right. And the Dodgers rallied. It was an 8-7 victory for the Braves. These are the top two teams in baseball right now as far as record. And Acuña Jr., who, first of all, got married earlier in the day, Rob, so congratulations.
I know, I saw that.
To
What a wedding celebration. I mean,
man.
I thought I had a bad honeymoon night, you know what I mean, watching Tiger Woods in the Masters. He's out playing a baseball game tonight. He was supposed to be cementing his new partnership.
Well, they
marriage.
got two kids, so
okay, so they
think he's already cemented.
Okay.
But
maybe he did that years ago. Yeah,
they got two, right. But anyway, Rob now he became the first 60-30 guy in Major League Baseball history. 60 steals. He's got 62. He had a couple last night, at least one. And then he hit his 30th home run, as I said, to become the first 60-30 guy. 60 stolen bases, 30 home runs. And the way he did it, Rob, was reminiscent of how Derek Jeter got his 3,000th hit. Remember, he hit a home run. It wasn't a grand slam. It was a home run, and last night Acuña Jr. hit a grand slam.
I was at that Jeter game, Chris, at Yankee Stadium against David Price. It was a magical, beautiful day. Yankee Stadium, sold out, a buzz. I remember Jay-Z and Beyonce were underneath the stadium to meet Derek Jeter after the game.
Wow.
They were there for that game, and I saw them, embrace and talk as we were waiting to go talk to Jeter. But yeah, Acuña last night, Chris, grand slam. He's having an unbelievable season. I will say this, that it could affect how people look at the race for National League MVP, because you have four guys, Olsen and Acuña Jr. from the Braves. You got Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts from the Dodgers. There are four guys who are having absolutely super, super regular seasons in the National League.
Yep.
And if Acuña continues to do what he's done, Chris, it could take some shine. And then he did do something that no one's ever done, which, we talk about this all the time. Last year was Aaron Judge in the American League, the most home runs, right? Breaking Roger Maris's.
Right.
People look at stuff like that. Acuña now has something that baseball's been around for 150 years. No one has ever done what he's done already. And we still got 30 games to go, Chris.
Yep.
So,
and I agree. And right now, Rob, I mean, look, just to keep it real, it's not a cop-out. You can make an argument for any of those guys, but if you want to talk about Acuña and Betts, I mean, both of them are having tremendous seasons. There's times I feel like it's Betts. There's times I feel like it's Acuña. Right? I mean, obviously last night, it's only one game, but that would seem to give Acuña a little bit of a boost.
Oh, yeah.
He's hitting 337, too. And I know Freeman's hitting better, but Acuña, has
more home runs,
and
steals.
And then, of course, the steals, right, the stolen bases. Now, Mookie is strong in all the categories, hitting 317, but he's strong everywhere else.
He's like number one in everything. And, Chris, look at his WAR. Is like a point better. Like, am I right?
In WAR. Yeah. He's 7.8. I don't think anybody else is above 7.
Right.
And so that's a huge thing for him. His OPS, the only one over 1. So he's having a phenomenal year. So I don't know who. It's going to be interesting to see who gets it. But you mentioned, Rob, the fact that Acuña is doing something that no one's ever done is. That can sway voters, and understandably so. But here's what I want to throw at you. The fact that they changed the rules, heading into this season, and we know now that the bases are bigger, which makes a huge difference in terms of stolen bases. Acuña, I don't think he's ever even stolen 40 in a season. And now he's at 62, which leads the league. And
he could have 75 by the time it's all over. There's 30 games to go.
Right. So I want to ask you, and also the pitchers can only throw over twice.
That's a huge advantage. Huge.
That might even be bigger than, the bases is big too. They're both big.
Right.
They're both very big. But does that, because we look at a guy like a Ricky Henderson who was, phenomenal, stole 130 bases one year and several seasons was over 100.
And played like 157, Chris, and stole 130. Like, think about that.
Oh, yeah. The dude, that's the thing. So Ricky Henderson, obviously Lou Brock, Vince Coleman, all those guys stole over 100 bases in a season in their careers.
Could they steal 200 bases with the way the rules are?
Well, that's the thing. When you could throw over as much as you wanted as a pitcher. The bases were smaller. So here's what I want to ask you. Does that diminish what Acuña's done in terms of, because you can say, well, the bases are bigger for everybody in the league, and he's still leading the league. So I get that. But I'm saying in terms of being the first 60-30 guy.
Yeah,
does it diminish it? Now, Henderson was not the home run hitter, obviously. None of them really were.
No, right.
None of them were, period, that Acuña was. So that's something, I don't know I think that's the challenge, I would say, at anyone that would diminish it is that, well, those guys didn't hit home runs like he does.
I get all that, and I'm not trying to poo-poo his season, Chris. You brought it up. The batting average is spectacular, right? He's not bad. He doesn't have 30 home runs and batting 210.
Right.
He's batting 337.
Right.
Okay, so that guys don't even hit 300 anymore. That's a pretty impressive batting average, okay?
Yep.
The only problem I do have, and I think it is Fugazi. I'm going to be on the – I'm not going to soft soak it and play the middle.
You didn't even go a little less impressive. Fugazi?
It's Fugazi because, Chris, the changes in the rules. Are you ready? Coming into tonight, the last look I had, there have been, you ready for this? 400 more stolen bases this year with 30 than last year, okay? Going into with 30 games to play around the major league. 400 already. Nice. They're going to have more than 3,000 total stolen bases, Chris, in both leagues for the first time since 2012. And here's the other thing. The success rate, not just the stolen base, Chris, but the success rate is through the roof because of the changes you talk about. When we watch these guys steal bases, it's usually bang, bang at the bag, right?
Oh,
bang,
yeah.
bang.
No doubt.
You're not tagging guys out by a mile.
Right.
The throw has to be perfect. If the throw's perfect, you just have enough time to get them. It's usually the throw being off, right?
Right.
The throw's on, it's a bang, bang, and you're normally out. The season started with like an 83% success rate, which is just unheard of. The bases are like a pizza box. I'm sorry.
It's like a large pizza compared to a personal pan pizza.
Exactly. And Chris, that makes a huge difference. Remember, and it's on both bags. It's not just second base. So I can take a bigger lead at first, and second base is closer.
It's giving you probably half a foot.
It's a lot.
Advantage, right? And here's what I always say, because people might, it's not that big of a deal. When you're dealing with world-class athletes, which all of these guys are, Rob, the difference, I'll say track and field, the difference between gold and not even meddling is 0.2 of a second.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's tiny.
It's not 3 minutes, right?
No, it's tiny. And that goes for the difference between a great quarterback or a touchdown pass and interception is inches. It's all in all these sports. These guys are all so great that you're talking about a very small, minute difference between Hall of Fame and just an average player.
No doubt.
Right? So you add a few inches advantage onto a stolen base. That's all a guy needs.
And there's a reason, Chris, that nobody's ever done it. You know what I mean? For real, because the stolen base part is the hard part to get that many stolen bases. And the guys you talked about, I don't know, go look up Ricky Henderson. He probably hit 25.
Well,
right?
okay.
What's the most he ever had in the season?
Well, first let's start. Vince Coleman was you could argue Vince Coleman was the second greatest. Ricky Henderson's the best base stealer
by far.
Ever. Vince Coleman probably is second. I mean, a lot of people might say Lou Brock, but Brock only sold over 100 once. Coleman did his first 3 years in the league.
I was going to say, yeah, at least 3 times.
Yeah, but how many career home runs you think Vince Coleman hit?
Under 100. I didn't hit that many.
28.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't hit
right. So Acuna's got more than that this season. Lou Brock, obviously Hall of Famer, great stolen base guy, led the league close to 10 times. He hit 149 career. Most he ever hit in the season, Rob, was 16.
Yeah.
Now Ricky Henderson,
Ricky hit some 20s. I know he did.
Ricky's career high looks like it was 28.
Yeah, I said 25. Okay, that's what I was going to say. He's close.
Twice. Right. So he was in those years. He stole 28. Hit 28 in 1990 and stole 65. Hit 28 in 86 and stole 87. Here's a little something about Ricky Henderson, though, in comparison to Acuña this year. Right. Rob, at 39 years old, Henderson led the league with 66 steals.
Oh no, he was a monster.
At 39.
And you
again,
remember,
not with today's rules.
Right. And Ricky was a specimen, Chris, as far as an athlete and like his legs. If you ever looked at this dude, he was put together. And he was a hell of a ball player.
Phenomenal
What was his lifetime batting average? Just curious, real quick.
279.
Yeah, and he wasn't like he was a 220.
Close to 3,000. Was 2,295 hit. No, I'm sorry. He did hit 3,000 hits. I was looking at runs. So over 3,000 hits.
Yeah, he played a long time, right?
He was a great player. I mean, he's honestly, Rob, you talking about on an all-time team, he got an argument to be a leadoff hitter.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. Greatest leadoff hitter. No doubt. 3,000 hits, stolen bases. He was a good fielder. It wasn't like he's you had to hide him in the outfield or whatever. Ricky was a good old
on-base percentage. So if he gets on, walked a lot too. So if he gets on, he's basically getting to second base.
If he's playing today, it's a cakewalk. And that's why I'll call it Fugazi with Acuña. Because the base stealing is out of control. And if you have any kind of speed like Acuña has, Chris, this is going to be easy for you. No doubt. I look, the stolen bases, there's definitely an argument there. But the home runs, I got to give him that. Because he may end with 35, and none of these guys ever did it. But he's not close. Can you imagine
if he close to what they did, though, on the base paths? That's the thing. Right?
No, I mean, it's a fair argument, but the base stealing is what makes him different from something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Puts him on a different plateau because nobody's ever done it.
Right.
But the base things, he's been hampered. He's been helped, I should say, with the bases.
No doubt.